Greetings, this is Pink Frog Yellow Boots from Behavioural, working towards achieving holistic health for everyone. Our lives are made up of incidences and experiences that we acquire during the process of life. And these accidents, incidents, and experiences leave their impact, be it major, minor, significant, or insignificant. When any of these have a impact that is distressing or abusive in nature, it becomes a concern. Such situations, when start impacting the emotional and mental health of the individual, become problematic and a matter of concern. And when it happens, it becomes a traumatic event or traumatic experience. So, the emotional and mental response to it is the response to trauma. Trauma can be broadly divided into three categories. Acute trauma. This is a experience or a event that occurred in one shot and impacted gravely the individual suffering or the individual that experienced it. The initial response can be shock, denial, confusion. Example of events can be rape, an accident, assault, diagnosis of a terminal or major illness, separation due to death or another reason that will not lead to any further specified result. Chronic trauma is trauma that is experienced by an individual due to repetitive abuse. For example, bullying, domestic violence, repetitive abuse, be it sexual, physical, emotional, being exposed to war. Chronic traumatic events leave deep wounds due to repetitive impact of the abuse or incident that cause major emotional and mental distress. And complex trauma is different traumatic events impacting an individual. To see an example, it can be seen as a child who lives in a dysfunctional family where he witnesses or she witnesses domestic violence in the house. Also, the child is neglected by the parents. When the child goes to school, there is bullying happening. Also, the child is not provided with basic care and necessity. All these things included impact the child differently, but they are all abusive in nature and thus cause complex impact in a traumatic nature. To differentiate abuse and trauma, see abuse as an action from external sources, while trauma is the impact that abuse have. Not all abuses lead to trauma, however. Every individual will have a different impact on the same abuse based on their response to it. There will be individuals who might sail through abusive situations that may be greatly devastating and disturbing for another individual. Thus, trauma is not comparative but subjective. Signs and symptoms that explain trauma or signify trauma could be seen in different areas of life. Physically, it can be seen as aches and pains, muscle tension, fatigue, change in sleep pattern, and appetite. Mentally, emotionally, there could be behavior changes, there could be a lack of sense of safety, difficulty making or reaching decisions, confusion, anger, guilt, issues with memory. There might be intensified memory, fragmented memory. That is, intensified memory is everything reminds you or a constant reminder of the event. Fragrance of memory are bits and pieces of reminder from the event, not having a complete memory of what happened, or complete loss of memory of the event that caused deep trauma. There could be flashbacks, difficulty concentration, tasks. Relationship wise or in personal life, it can impact maintaining or creating relationships, having difficulty maintaining or creating boundaries. Other things to notice as an individual who is usually hypervigilant is frightened easily or starts isolating self. Also, people who are traumatized may suffer or be impacted if another situations resembles or reminds them of the previous trauma or the ongoing trauma. These could be sensory, that is touch, taste, smell, sound, that may be linked to the trauma they are suffering or they have suffered. Also, activities, places, people who are or were involved in trauma or resemble that. Also, they create defense mechanisms and coping mechanisms that might not be healthy and cause more damage to the individual. Gradually, long term or short term, that is, any sort of trauma can also lead to post traumatic stress disorder. However, there are ways and guidelines available to overcome trauma. It might not be easy, it will take time, but there are possibilities to overcome it. Therapy is one of them. However, daily routine and lifestyle changes, creating healthy, safe, and dependable bonds, meditation, yoga, exercise are other things that can be taken into consideration. Overall, trauma is not a simple thing that can be explained by one individual to another. Every individual has their own way of responding to things and situations which can drastically be different from each other. However, there are ways to overcome it and live a healthier and happier life. Have a safe and supportive week ahead. Take care.